Okay, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Online in association with Round for Round Boxing, the new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. Great news about Round for Round Boxing. We've signed the current unified heavyweight champion of the world, Andy Ruiz. Yes, he is part of the game. And thank you so much, Andy, for being part of the game. If you're a boxer, you need to be part of Round for Round Boxing. Okay, without further ado, I have to make a very quick announcement before I start and introduce my guest. It's from Ruiz Mason, who says, he sent me in a message via a direct message to me earlier, and I wanted to read it out. He goes, "Hey Ingram, just thought I would give you a message to say I've been following BWTM on YouTube for a while now, and I love the channel. I can remember it was first called Bayloric TV. I first came across the channel when you did interviews with Peter Fury and think you create great content for us boxing fans. Ignore any hate you get, brother, and stay real. Hope all is well. God bless." So, Ruiz Mason, thank you so much for your encouragement. I really appreciate it. We've been going now, almost 10 years now, and I really appreciate the encouragement. And thank you to all the fighters and all the people around the world that's made it possible for us to keep going and keep giving you the content. And for people like yourself, Ruiz, to keep giving us that great encouragement. Thank you, and God bless you too, brother. So, without further ado, we have in the room with us Michael, the bounty hunter. Michael, how are we doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm good, brother. It's good to have you back in the room again so soon.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back.
Great.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So, we might as well get straight down to business. It's probably the most asked question of you at the moment. What did you think of the fight on Saturday night?
I thought it was a great performance from Ruiz. I think the experience showed, that day. People are trying to give excuses for Anthony, but I said it before they fought. I said that guys have a lot of experience and he can fight, and it showed that night.
Now, one of the excuses I'm hearing now, the story has come out, is that AJ was knocked out twice in sparring, one by the current European champion, and somebody else knocked him out in sparring, and that's why he lacked the confidence going into this fight. And there was too much pressure put on him. What are your thoughts about this, Michael? And does that have any, if a guy's getting knocked out in sparring before a big fight, does that have that much of impact on him come fight night?
Absolutely. Anytime you ever get knocked out, it plays a big part on you, especially in training. That's not a good sign. And that's not a good way to have your training camp. Usually what they do is if a guy is too much and he drops you one time or something, they change sparring partners. They get somebody because, in training, you're training for the fight. You're not at the fight, So, sometimes you don't need to be in tough wars and nothing like that. You need to be building your guys' confidence up. And, there's a cultivation that comes into play when it comes into training camp. And, it's just not a really good sign if that's happening. Definitely kills the confidence.
What for me, the most worrying thing is there's a lot of people out there at the moment that are people who have got it right and said, look, AJ's had flaws for a long time. But what seems to be happening in the UK particularly is a lot of AJ sympathizers that are saying, you're hating, don't hate on a man when he's down. It's not hating. If you're seeing flaws, this guy has been getting constantly knocked out in sparring. So to me, something must be going wrong in training camp because the objective in sparring is to get better, to work on your defense, not for you to constantly keep getting knocked out in sparring. That can't do you any favors.
Yes, it definitely doesn't do you any favors by getting knocked out whatsoever. So, I think the fans, they love AJ. He's a good guy, and he's humble at times, and I think his character is humble. But this is a sport, so. But I think they just have a sweet spot in their heart. In their heart for AJ, he is the number one guy in UK when it comes to boxing. So, there's just a lot of hardcore fans, and, you're always going to get that with the hardcore fans. They don't want to see you lose, and they want to see you do good, just because, you might be a good person, but, this is boxing, and this is the sport of boxing. And, I think they need to be able to regulate and have some type of, plateau. There's levels, so I just think, he kind of overstepped his boundary, and, they just missed out that night. Not that I don't think he can't beat him, but, I think he's just a lot more experienced. He's the better fighter. I think he would beat, Andy Ruiz would beat a majority of the 10, so they fought 10 times.
But there were flaws there. We saw, that's why when I call the fight and I go back to these AJ sympathizers, he got rocked by Dillian Wright. He got dropped by Klitschko. He got knocked out constantly in sparring by guys, even cruiserweights that was coming out with. Why people thought for 1 second that Andy Ruiz's left hook was not going to catch AJ is beyond me. I didn't understand it. It didn't make sense from the start.
I think that, he's come from, kind of like my era, my class, from like 2008, 2012. Yeah. These when we were all in the amateurs together, and a lot of the fans, and mostly AJ core fans, are not going to know Andy Ruiz and that he can fight. He's been fighting at that weight, and he's a very experienced fighter. I think people just looked at his weight, and then they looked at Anthony Joshua, and people like this. It looks good, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to the actual art of fighting, that's why it's boxing, because you don't have to be the biggest, baddest, strongest person looking. You can be as slim or short. There's different styles and different ways to get jobs done. So I just think people are just overlooking the physique. They got played out by the physique, and I think he did too.
The other thing I've got to ask you is, when I was doing live commentary for the fight, and I noticed from the start AJ looked wrong. When he came out of the dressing room, he looked wrong. I saw him gritting his teeth, really biting down on his gumshoe, walking out of the dressing room like that's not the attitude or the behavior of a guy who's a unified heavyweight champion of the world making his debut in America. Then when he got in the ring, what even got worse, he was laying on the ropes and he was getting a back massage. I'm thinking, the guy looked like he was. I mean, what is that? You're a fighter. You tell me.
Yeah, and it's funny because he did that in the beginning of the fight. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, when he was like before.
When he was chewing on his mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And he had he did that in the beginning, but then when he got hurt, he went back to the corner and did the same thing. He had his hands right on the ropes, and that's when the ref called the fight off because he wasn't showing that he really wanted to go. You got to jump on one foot, shake your head, push the ref. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give any altercations that he wanted to continue. So, that's how it went.
I once heard a commentator once say, if you're not prepared for a war when you get into a fight, you can't prepare for it when you're in the fight. Means if you're not ready, if you're not up for a war beforehand, you can't suddenly switch on inside a fight. Your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. That's like a law, art of war. That's a rule in the art of war that you only when you go to the fight, you only can you can only pack what you can pack. You can't go back and try to grab something else, or it's game time once you step in there. So all the plans and all the fights and all the things that you practice on is done now. You can't go look back. And once you're in there, you have to implement it. You have to play it out. So it's a learning experience, and you're definitely gonna be able to see the character. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, let me ask you another question. In terms of people are talking, are you okay?
Yeah.
You okay? Okay. In terms of trainers, I mean, I know that you've spent some time working with Uncle Bashir, and I've suggested Uncle Bashir would be the best person to train Joshua based on his heavyweight knowledge and being in the sport for over 50 years and training some great champions along the way. What are your thoughts on potentially a Bashir training Joshua, or anybody else you think would be good to train Joshua in the future? Sorry, Michael, go ahead. Michael?
Oh, sorry.
So go ahead. Oh, yeah, I was asking, in terms of trainers, who would you have training Anthony Joshua now?
It's very hard to say. I mean, that was the first thing that I noticed to me that stood out to me is when the moment that happened, I said that was a trainer's mistake. You have to blame the trainer on that. And in their camp, the fight is lost in preparing for the war. In the gym and stuff like that. So, yeah, you're definitely gonna have to look at the preparation. Him, his trainer, and everybody involved in his training camp. It plays a big role. So, to be honest, to get somebody, I wouldn't be sure. I'm not sure exactly who, but he would need somebody with a little rhythm. I mean, I don't know about how their team works and stuff, but yeah, I think he would need somebody with just a little more experience and stuff like that when it comes to developing big guys.
Okay. For yourself, there's a few people out there that are misguided about who you are and what you're capable of doing. I've got a few people in here that think, and it's a common thing with people who are not really versed in the boxing universe, but some people think that you're too small to beat the big heavyweights in the division. Can you educate some people, please, in terms of your background as a heavyweight?
Well, I was the representative for the United States for the Olympic team in 2008, and I was actually the super heavyweight. And Deontay Wilder was the cruiserweight or heavyweight, what they call it in the amateurs. People don't really know that, but I've started my career as a heavyweight, and I really enjoy that because a lot of these guys, none of the fighters are saying that. A lot of these guys, and if they are, it's just because they haven't been around. They don't know, they don't know boxing. I've been. A lot of these, I know all the heavyweights, and all the heavyweights know me through the amateurs and stuff like that. And I've been in the ring with all of them. I used to spar. I was Klitschko's main sparring partner for 4 or 5 camps. I worked with him for the David Haye fight, for the Eddie Chambers fight, and I worked with Vitaly Klitschko. So I'm no stranger to the big guys. So I can't wait till I get another a bigger guy on my record. It just makes it that much sweeter.
Can I ask you something? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I also fought Andy Ruiz in the World Championship.
Okay, how did that go?
I stopped Andy Ruiz in amateur.
There you go. You heard it first here, exclusive. Michael Hunter stopped Andy Ruiz in the amateurs. There you go. Okay, Michael, next question I want to ask you is, my perception is that because you've also fought a cruiserweight, when you fight these big, heavy guys that have got slow feet, you see the punches coming a lot. They come slower at you because you fought a lower weight and you fought faster guys. Is that the case from your perspective? Because I'd really like to know.
No, that's like I said. I started as a heavyweight. I started out fighting big guys. So, and I think that's actually one of the reasons that helped me. Yes, I'm a smaller guy. Anybody knows me, then they would know that my father was also a fighter, and he was a very slick and fleet-footed type of fighter, and he was a boxer. So, boxing and moving and having a good boxing eye comes very, very natural to me. So I think that's just where I get the advantage from. And I just, I've been lucky and fortunate to, have that type of experience that I actually can compete with those smaller guys and move like a smaller guy,
Do you have any concerns of facing any heavyweights in the UK? Or have you turned down any fighters in the UK?
I have not turned down no fights at all. Yeah, so, but I would love a fight in UK. The UK I love the fans. It's a whole different atmosphere. It's like a home away from home when I go out there. I just enjoy the atmosphere and the way that people make me feel and stuff like that. So I would love to get a household name, a big name over there and compete,
So have you ever been approached by Joe Joyce's people?
No, I have not. They try to, go through Twitter wars with me, but he's never approached me with any contract or any type of contract.
And would you fight Joe Joyce?
I will fight Joe Joyce today. I will fight him right now.
Why?
I mean, I just feel like, just like they say they're big, I want to prove myself. He's a great fighter and all, but I just want to, I want the people to know that, I'm the baddest man on the planet. So he has a lot of praise. He has a medal. I didn't medal. So there's different attributes and different stats that that look good on when it comes to us going against each other. So I just like to compete at the best. So anybody that they want from the UK or anybody else other than that's not in the UK, as long as it's in the right time and the right place and stuff, I'm down.
So there's one person here who's a big Joe Joyce fan, and I spoke Sam Jones the other day. I was talking about the Jennings fight with Joyce, and I said that if Jennings came with the right mindset, he's got faster hand and foot, and he's a decent boxer, he could cause Joe Joyce problems. And basically, Sam Jones said to me, I was talking poo, and I said to him about a fight between yourself and Joe Joyce. And he said something about negotiations and stuff, but they don't need you, or something about their levels above, or some nonsense like that.
Yeah, that's what they always, those are the excuses that, it's like a game. Those are the excuses that people play to say that I'm nobody, or I was in the 2008 and 12 Olympics. I don't even know who Joe Joyce was. He wasn't even boxing. And that's the same thing as I was explaining right before the Anthony Joshua Ruiz fight. I said the same thing, that Andy Ruiz, I've been knowing him since in the amateurs, and I fought with him in the amateurs. When we were fighting, we did not know Dillian White. We did not know Anthony Joshua. They were not there. You know what I'm saying? So
what about Tyson Fury? Because I know Tyson was over in the States and he fought some US guys.
Yes, Tyson Fury. He was there. Deontay Wilder. We've seen each other on different occasions. And that's how I felt. If we were able to see them already earlier, they would probably a lot of these fighters would already been weeded out. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's kind of unfortunate for Matchroom and DAZN to take a loss like that. But I also think it's good for the heavyweight division, because now there's the belts are going to be probably dispersed at some point in time. And I think a lot of the guys are going to have to continue to fight each other. Instead of fighting, having showcase fights and fighting with a high favoritism. I think it's gonna start being even really, really fast.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that. So
absolutely,
that means there's mix, there's chaos. There's a chance to make a reward.
Where do you think next is for you, Michael? Where's your next move? Do you know where you're going to get guided now that Joshua's no longer the champion and Ruiz is out there and Wilder's doing his thing with Fury, and I don't know what Manuel Shah is doing? What's your next fight, and where would you like to be next?
Like I said, I love the UK. I would love to fight in the UK.
Okay.
But I know I have, I have a lot of fans in Vegas. I'm from Las Vegas.
Okay.
And that's been my home for quite some time. So I would also love to fight in Vegas. I haven't done that in years, so to get that opportunity would also be nice as well. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going with it, but I know, I'm ready.
So people are asking, do you see yourself and Joyce meeting soon, or is that something you see in the future?
I mean, if it's all right, I'm with it. But they're all into the business. They have to be very business. They have to be very choosy of who they pick. Because of certain style and them not being able to adjust. But if the opportunity arises really, and they're just not trying to use my name for clout, then we can make it happen.
Well, Sam Jones says he wants to come back on the show and tell me what he's got to say. So do you have a message to Sam Jones when he comes on our show?
No, I don't have a message.
Okay, and just two more thoughts. Your thoughts on Hrgović, and would that be a fight you'd look into?
I would love that fight.
How do you rate his skill set?
I haven't really watched him much. I mean, obviously he performed very well at the fight we were at the Harbor.
Yes.
But it wasn't really too much to see, so he did his job. I haven't, other than that, I haven't really watched him. I'm just now actually finding out about him, and I know he's a medalist as well. They have a big future. He's a big toe, and he's young, so he has a lot to grow. Potential. They have a lot of potential. So you never know where these fighters are going to go. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to end up getting fights just like that of that caliber. Like I said, because they're going to have to start fighting each other. They're going to have to start making real fights now, and so I'm going to be a part of it. So I'm excited. I don't know which one they're going to give me, but whatever one I don't really have that luxury where I get to
pick and choose.
Yeah. If the fight comes, obviously I got to be the one stepping in the ring, but they all have business people behind them, and they really can't even make their own decisions, whether they want to fight me or not. But I can make that decision.
Final question: round for round boxing is Andy Ruiz in it. It's got Lucas Brown in it. It's got Sugar Ray, Henry Armstrong in it. It's got quite a few other fighters in it as well. Would you ever fancy seeing yourself in a video game?
Yeah, I would love to be in a video game. That's like kids' dream, especially when you're playing sport. So, yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay, well, that'll happen. Go ahead.
I wouldn't want to just be in any old video game, though. I would like to enjoy it. So,
okay.
I would want it to be a good video game.
Okay, well, we'll get back in contact with you about round for round boxing as well. I'm sure the guys, because I'm part of the team as well, I'm sure that they would love to hear from you.
Awesome.
Okay, Michael the Bounty Hunter, we look forward to hearing about the progress of your own career, your next fight. And the reason we called you is because we believe you're going to become heavyweight champion of the world. And who doesn't want to talk to the heavyweight champion of the world?
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love your interviews. You ask beautiful questions. And it's a pleasure to be on the show with you.
Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Take care, champ. So there you have it. Michael Hunter has stopped Ruiz in the amateurs. Says he's ready to fight any heavyweight in the world. That includes Joe Joyce. And he believes Hrgović has a great, bright future ahead. And believes that Anthony Joshua's defeat really falls at the hands of the trainer. And if these rumors are true about Joshua being knocked out in sparring and Joshua not wanting to fight in America and Joshua's dad not wanting to fight in America, but Eddie Hearn pushed the agenda and Sky didn't want Joshua to fight in America, What the hell is going on? Anyway, I'll be back in less than an hour talking to the man who I believe and many others believe is the best man for Anthony Joshua, James Ali Bashir. Uncle James Ali Bashir, in boxing over 50 years, specializes in heavyweights. He's trained Monty Barrett, Shannon Briggs, Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, Usyk, now training Serenko. So Bashir knows what it takes to train a champion. He's worked hand in hand by himself and also with Emmanuel Stewart. So why not have somebody with that lineage, that sort of boxing IQ and science? People have called names like Freddie Roach, not a defensive coach. Adam Booth, whilst Adam Booth teaches a guy to move from left to right, tactically, we can look at many fights with Adam Booth where he has not been tactically on the spot. The Andy Lee fight, fought against Billy Joe Saunders, decided to put Billy Joe Saunders under pressure in the second half of the fight, but in the first 6 stood back and tried to box Saunders and should have been a puncher instead. The tactics he used against Klitschko with David Haye, where they were trying to leap in and throw one right hand. There are many other fights as well. So, there are many other reasons as to why I think the best trainer out there is not because I've got Bashir on the channel, but a man's CV. What have you done lately? So, okay, people say Freddie Roach. Okay, what's Freddie Roach going to teach Anthony Joshua? Attack is not the problem. Defense is the problem. And Roach is not a defensive coach. Some of these people on YouTube and experts, they're going to get people seriously hurt. Roach doesn't teach defense. You need to find a coach and you need a mentor, because you're not looking at just the physical attributes. I don't listen. And most of you have never boxed. You need a guy that's going to be able to work with AJ's attributes, but at the same time, be able to turn around and bring the best out of him. I have to take a call. I'll talk to you later.